Hey, welcome to the Relationships Made Easy podcast. And this is Ask Dr. Abby. And this might be a separate podcast later. Not really sure how we're going to work all that. But for now, I have it all in one place. And today, what I'm doing on the Ask Dr. Abby is I'm answering questions from you. So anytime you have a question, right now, you can just email me at abbymedcalf.com. You can go to my website, abbymedcalf.com, and there's a contact page. You can send it there. We're going to probably have some other ways to do that later. You can also DM me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you see me. All of that will be below this video, so you can check it out. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can find all of that there too. So wherever you're finding this, you'll be able to find me. Wonderful me. So, hey, okay. So I'm starting this out with, and I've answered people's questions before, just not in this kind of more formal Ask Dr. Abby way. And let me just say that anything I say on the podcast is not meant to be a substitute for therapy. I cannot ethically diagnose people from afar. And so, whatever sort of I'm putting out there is really to be on some level taken with a grain of salt, because like anybody who's giving you any sort of suggestions or advice or tips or whatever, it's really, you better than anybody else knows you, and certainly better than me. So I really want you to always think about the source. And if you trust me and kind of like how I talk, then maybe you're going to listen to this a little stronger. But you have to know, I don't know all your ins and outs. I don't know all the pieces. I just have this little piece that you gave me in a question. So I can only answer so much. But I'm doing this first question came to me via a Facebook message, actually. And I'm going to read it to you right now. Let's jump in. This is, and I never, if you do email me, I'm never going to say your name on here. Although if you want to let me know your country or something, that's always nice. But this does seem to have come from within the United States. And the question is, I'm feeling unloved and unappreciated or not good enough in some way. Is this a me problem or is my partner causing it? And this is a great question. And I get asked things like this a lot. So let me just say, first and foremost, nobody else causes anything. So the answer is, it is a you problem. It is not your partner causing it. And I just want to say that first. However, I've got some caveats, so keep listening. But really think about that. No one, what did Eleanor Roosevelt famously say many years ago? No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And that's really what this is about. No one can make you feel a certain way. And I know it can seem that way because it seems like people make us feel all kinds of things. So yeah, of course, it sucks if someone's mean to us, or, it's hard not to get your feelings hurt if, someone acts a certain way. But what I have found over the years is that, number one, we say that things have a definition that they often don't. So our partner leaving, maybe if my, partner leaves his sock on the floor, I say, oh, he doesn't appreciate me. He thinks I'm a maid. That means he doesn't appreciate me. He doesn't really love me. He doesn't understand me. I have this whole thing about a sock on the floor. And so we're often deciding what something means. And we even say things like, you knew what you meant, or you didn't mean that when you said that, you meant this. We even tell people what they mean or what they said when it wasn't. And that's a you problem. That's a you thing. You got to get out of that. And the example I use of this all the time is this. Let's say I am walking down the street and someone says to me, I don't know, like someone's passing me by and goes, oh my God, you're gross. Like you're obese. You're disgusting. You shouldn't even be walking on the street. You should go home. And I'm not obese. I'm not saying my butt isn't bigger than I'd like, but I'm not obese. And I don't think I'm obese. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have any big problem there. So I'm going to think the other person's crazy. They're saying this thing to me. It's a mean thing to say, without a doubt. But because I don't believe it at all, it doesn't hit any part of me, I am dismissing it. It doesn't actually hurt my feelings. It doesn't, I mean, I don't like it. I'm not going to say I like it. If someone were to come up to me and say mean things to me like that. Um, but I'm not going to be torn up about it all day. I'm not going to be talking about it all day, thinking about it, perseverating, going on and on, ruminating about what this stranger said to me on the street, right? I'm not going to do it. Now, if my partner, let's say my partner, and my man Gary would never do this, but he, thank God, loves the way I look. But let's say I'm some person, I'm not me. Let's say I'm not me. And and I do not like that my butt's a little bigger. And my partner says to me, maybe I say something offhandedly like, or maybe he says something offhandedly like, uh, maybe pats my butt on the way by and goes, "Hey, the little junk in the trunk there," makes some comment. I might then, and if I'm self-conscious about my ass and my butt and how I look or whatever, that might forget it. Oh, he's not attracted to me. I knew he hated my butt too. I knew he's never really liked having sex with me. Now I'm never gonna be able to sex again or be naked again. I'm gonna have to back out of the room the rest of my life when I'm naked, these kinds of things, right? um, whatever's going on, because it's something you believe, it's something that's kind of hitting home. It's something that's coming deeper. So when this kind of question gets asked, where someone's saying, is it my partner causing this way I'm feeling? No, your partner can't cause you to feel a certain way. Again, because if your partner was saying something just ridiculous, you wouldn't believe it. But our partners are, especially, are people that we obviously are closer to than almost anybody in the world. So, and we have this different kind of intimacy with, so it hurts differently. We feel it differently. It comes in stronger when our partner says something to us. So I wanted to start on that level. That is the quote unquote simple answer, just on the top. But let's go a little deeper. Um, Not feeling loved or appreciated. And I got rid of the question. Hold on, let me just bring it back up. Or good enough or not good enough in some way is, again, these are two different things to me. So the not good enough in some way, and the fact that this was a female that wrote this in, this woman put it with these other two pieces of love and appreciation, makes me think it's all connected, right? Like, here's this really short thing she sent me, and these are the three things she said. Love, I don't feel loved and appreciated, or like I'm not good enough. And that is why she doesn't feel loved and appreciated, because underneath there, she is not feeling fully worthy of love, that she's not good enough. It is not, I don't ever, I'll just use myself. I don't ever ask that question in life because I'm older. I have a lot of confidence in who I am in the world and what I'm doing. And if I was with someone and was getting this feeling like, I just don't have that, like, I'm not good enough for this person. That's not something that comes up for me. Now, I've been in work situations where I felt like an imposter or something, where, maybe, I've worked with these executives and these very large corporations, running billion-dollar things. And I've sometimes felt like an imposter, like, oh my God, how am I sitting here with these people who, are all like so accomplished or something? That has happened. And there's that feeling of not being worthy. I shouldn't be in the room. I'm not good enough. I get it. Get me wrong. I get it. I just I've never gotten it in love, for whatever my issues are. And I got many people, I got issues. Look at me. I got issues, but it's not that. I've always felt good in my love relationships, even when I was really effed up. And I just have always, I don't know. That's one of the things I'm quote unquote, confident at or something. I don't know what the words are. Trust me, in my earlier relationships, I should not have been confident. I was a train wreck in a lot of ways, but it's just never been my thing. However, at work and other places, it has certainly been a thing before. So I get it, I do. And that feeling of feeling unworthy or not good enough is really related to your self-esteem. That's what that is. And so and what I said to this, I did reply to this woman, in a kind of quick response. And, I just sort of said, well, you're going to have to work on you no matter what. So here's the deal. So this woman's partner, might not be, and I think I assumed it as a man. I don't even know if she said him. Hold on. I have to look now. Um, oh, she doesn't. So maybe she's with a female. I'm sorry. That was presumptuous of me. So I'm going to say male right now, but I have no idea. This could be a female. So I apologize if that is, but I want to use sort of kind of one way of saying this for the ease of the conversation. So if her partner maybe isn't right for her, maybe he's a total a-hole, maybe he's really a jerk and undermines her and, goes after things. That's, so yeah, maybe this isn't the relationship for her, but it shouldn't be. I don't want her to leave um, because she thinks, well, he's just the worst and I have to go, without knowing. Because what happens, and I've had this before, people leave the relationship and then later they go, oh, I know I coulda, shoulda, woulda, really he wasn't so bad. Oh, and they romanticize and remember, and they think, if I had only done this, if I had just done that one thing, if I'd only, then it would have been fine and we'd be great. And I don't know what I was thinking. It was such a mistake. And they end up thinking it was this big mistake to leave. And maybe it was, and maybe it wasn't. Well, it's not if you left. If you left, you're supposed to leave. I don't think there's mistakes like that. However, you get where I'm going here. You picking up what I'm laying down. So you really have to think about this. And that is, I want you always to work on yourself first, to understand that it is a you problem, so to speak, first. And once you get yourself in your lane and you are strong, you can then, or stronger, then and only then can you, really make an assessment about, is this relationship right for you? And what I often find is that when people raise their self-esteem and when they're more confident, they often don't want to be with this person anymore. This is not their person. They want someone with, like, sort of at a higher level. And I say that with love. I'm not saying higher, like better, or I mean like healthier, or at where you are. It's really important as we grow and change to be with people who can meet us where we are now. If you're at this different kind of self-actualization, you have higher self-awareness and you're feeling really good, there's people you don't want to surround yourself with that aren't doing those things. And that's not a diss on those people. It just is. It's like, I don't want to hang around with people who talk about soccer all day. I don't like soccer. I'm sorry if you're listening and you like soccer. That's on you. It's not my thing. Don't enjoy watching it. Never have played it. Well, that's not true. I played it when I was young, but I tried it in like gym class. We used to call it gym class, not physical education, because there was an actual gym, but gymnasium. But I mean, I did it a few times. I didn't like it. It wasn't my thing. I played other sports. And where I grew up, I don't think it was big. Soccer wasn't like a thing. So all I'm saying is, I don't want to hang around people who talk about soccer all day. I would not be enjoyable. These are not my people. God, again, nothing wrong with them. God bless you. Go talk about soccer, but I don't need to be there. So that's what I'm saying. So, there's no elitist thing here. There's just a difference. And here's this other thing I really want you to hear. I said this in my TED Talk. So if you want to watch my TED Talk, if you just go on YouTube and search Abby Medcalf TED Talk, it'll pop up. But I actually show a visual of what I'm going to say to you, because this is really, really important. Get ready. You ready? This is important. So people think relationships are a simple addition problem. They think, oh, my better half, my other half, he completes me. We talk about this language all the time. And we think about that, like these two halves that come together and make this beautiful whole, blah, blah, blah. I'm throwing up in my mouth. That is not true. That is not what happens. So here's the deal. If you've been in a long-term relationship, I'm not telling you anything new, that relationships, especially loved ones, are no simple addition problem. Oh my gosh. They are not simple addition. They are exponential. They are like complex. There's so much, right? Really, these are multiplication problems. Relationships are multiplication problems. They are not simple addition problems. And so if you add 1/2 plus 1/2, yeah, you get a whole. But like I said, this isn't that. When you multiply a half times a half, if you remember your third grade math, you will know you get a quarter. You get less than you started with. And that is what happens all the time in relationships. I see these sort of half people get with other half people, and they end up more miserable than when they started. They end up with their worst selves coming through. They end up with more problems than they had before. They put up with all kinds of crap, all kinds of BS, and all in the name of this quarter relationship. And I know I'm giving you some hard love right now, some hard love, but here's the deal. So if you want a relationship that is a big whole, is some beautiful whole, and it's a multiplication problem, then it's 1 times 1, right? It's a whole person, and a whole person come together and have a whole relationship. And trust me, if you think you have your crap together, but you're attracted to fixer-uppers, you do not have your crap together, because having your crap together means you are not attracted to the fixer-upper that you pass on by. And I know you're sitting there right now going, oh, but he's so great, and he has all these other wonderful qualities, or she's so amazing, and you don't understand. And I understand plenty. Doing this 35 friggin' years. I understand plenty. And you're the one who is in denial. That's bullshit. Like, it's just crap. You are in denial. I'm, again, with all the love in my heart, I'm saying this. I'm saying it because I'd like you to wake up to what is happening. Trust me, there's billions of people on the planet. You think this is the only person who has some wonderful qualities? There's lots of people with wonderful qualities. And there's some with wonderful qualities that don't have the crap. And this is about you. This is about you being attracted to something. You co-create every relationship you're in, and you co-created this. So what I'm saying to you is, when you work on yourself, and that's what I told this person who wrote this question in, I'm telling you now, when you work on yourself becoming a whole, you're not going to be attracted to the half people. They're not going to feel good to you. It's not going to feel like a good relationship. And that's really what I wanted this woman to do. I want her to work on her whole, go to therapy, do some work, whatever you got to do to listen to my podcast, practice what I preach, what I tell you about all the time, really practice it, do the homework. I always give tools and stuff on the Relationships Made Easy podcast. There's tons of tools. Use them. I lovingly give them so you can use them and change your life. So when you use them, right, because you start to move and change, read the books, go to workshops, whatever you're going to do, right, to be a whole. And when you, again, do that, you need to then take a hard look at your relationship. Can this other person also become a whole? Not because you're going to fix them. No. That's called codependency. That means you're not a whole if you're looking to fix them. It doesn't mean that you don't invite them to things like, hey, I'm doing this workshop. It looks really good. You want to come? Oh my gosh, I watched this great TED Talk by Abby Medcalf. It's amazing. You want to listen to it together? Let's talk about it. What do you think? What did you like about it? What didn't you like? Anything to get the conversation going. It's fine to think that this person can come on this journey with you. How lovely, how wonderful, how beautiful. But if you're dragging them on the journey, that's something else. If you're, just that they're kicking and screaming and really not wanting what you want, then I say, if you really love them, if you truly do, and who they are, then you need to accept them for who they are, which means you either need to just leave that alone, and this is the relationship and this is what it is, or you need to go. But doing the other thing and dragging them along for years and years is not the answer. So getting yourself to that place where you feel confident, where you feel worthy of real love, worthy of people's time and energy and appreciation and love. When that happens, then you can make other choices. Then you can, and hopefully you can start asking more for what you do want. So not what you don't want, but what you do want. And again, you got to be very careful of putting those definitions on your partner. This idea that again, I'm going to say it's a heterosexual relationship. I have no idea, but let's say maybe her partner is incredibly loving in his way and incredibly appreciative in his way. he has maybe a different love language, right? A different way of expressing it, a different way of showing it. And maybe there's just a big miss that she's assuming that the way, I'm thinking of a couple I had not that long ago I was working with, and she had the same complaint. He doesn't love me, doesn't appreciate me. And he was just pulling his hair out going, I love you so much. I don't know what you're talking about. For him, working his butt off so that she didn't have to work and taking care of his family and taking care of everybody was showing love and appreciation. He was not great at showing it in other ways, I will say that. Although he liked, like, he would plan these extravagant vacations for them. He would buy her gifts. He was very, what I would say is a visual communicator, like showing up with things. And to him, that was showing love. That's what it was to him. It was not to her. And she's allowed to have her way of wanting to feel loved, and he's allowed to have his. But you got to accept that then. Like, at some point, you have to decide, can I look at this as being loved? Can I, at the very least, stop judging on the other side and saying he's not a loving and appreciative because he doesn't, tell me or write me cards with long notes in them or something else. At some point, it's about feeling secure in the relationship in other ways. Again, it generally comes back to your own insecurity in the relationship, your own feelings of unworthiness and wanting that validation all the time. So how can you move past that? How can you move to where your person is? And the last thing I'll say before we end for the day is what I like people to think about, and you'll hear me repeat this over and over. I'd like you to think about your relationship like a triangle, but most people think of it as a straight line. So, this person's on point A, I'm on point B, and I'm always looking to sort of on that line. There's one line that connects those two. And I'm always looking to kind of, drag them over here. Like, come on, show me this, give me this, stop that, whatever it is. I'm looking to bring them to where I am. That's what I want. I want to drag, push, cajole, manipulate. I want to bring them to where I am. And that's not it. I know you think where you are is correct and right, but that's what they think also. So there's our problem, right? And we end up in that situation in what I call relationship gridlock, where the two of you are both like, in a gridlock, nothing's moving. So instead, I need you to think of the relationship, like I said earlier, like a triangle. So yes, you're each at point A and point B at a base. Think of it as a base of a triangle, right? You're both at a base, different side of base of a triangle. And the third point is up at the top of that triangle. That's where you're trying to go. That's where the goal is. Something new, something in front of you, something that you're both going to create together. And what I always say to folks is, instead of dragging the person to where you are, I need you to walk to where they are. Go meet them where they're at. It's the first thing, by the way, we learn in counseling school is meet the client where they're at. And I have to tell you, it should be the first thing we learn in any relationship. Meet the person where they're at, not where you want them to be, not where you're asking them to be, not where you're begging them to be, but where they are. Because when people feel met, just like what you want to feel heard, you want to feel loved, you want to feel seen, understood. Guess what? That's meeting the person where they're at. So if you can walk on over there and meet them there and walk together forward, walk together to a new place, that's how you do it. That's the way. But this dragging and pushing and upset and that on that line is not it. So you either have to be in the triangle where you're both going up to this other place, or you need to be just one dot, one point, one little unit that's choosing a path forward. Not your path, not the path you've decided on, because that's not collaboration. That's not being with your partner. I'm talking about really being with that person. And I want you to think of your relationship in this way. I want you to think about being under the influence. Let me finish. I know, under the influence, right? Be under the influence of joy. Be under the influence of love. Be under the influence of abundance, of openness, of willingness, of compassion. I want you to be under the influence of those things instead of what you're under the influence of now, of the doubt, of the worry, of the anxiety, of the self hate, of all those things. Get out of there. Get under a different influence. And that again is your work to do. And from there, you can make decisions for what's next. That's it. First episode, woo, of Ask Dr. Abby. I am planning, if all works well, of putting this also on YouTube, so you can watch my at least Ask Dr. Abby segments on YouTube. I might put more up there. You've got to go look at my YouTube channel. Again, Abby Medcalf, PhD. Find me on YouTube. And if you want to watch the podcast there, if you want to, have people, send people there or anything, we'll see how this works. If we like it, I'll keep doing it. So for now, I'm going to start and I'll keep you informed on my journey. And if, again, you like listening to the Ask Dr. Abby segments, send me in questions. I'd love to answer them. And as always, tune in to the Relationships Made Easy podcast overall, where I'm tackling all kinds of things in season 4. I'm so excited to be in season 4 of the podcast. That's it. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you to really be happy. And that is always my goal. And that means happiness with yourself first. So be under the influence of love. And I'll talk to you soon.